Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews and another Versus Night. Tonight, I will be comparing Sidekicks from 1992 versus The Next Karate Kid from 1994. So let's begin with this with the leads. Sidekicks stars Jonathan Brandis and Chuck Norris. The Next Karate Kid stars Pat Morita and Hilary Swank. Alright, so Sidekicks, in a way, to me, with Jonathan Brandis, it was almost like a Karate Kid style film, in a way. You had the kid that was bullied, and he decides to go into a tournament to confront his bullies in here. The only difference was he had that little fantasy thing in there where he had asthma and he would have fantasies about his favorite actor, Chuck Norris, his hero. And I love those little sequences where he's having those little fantasies because they all connect to different real Chuck Norris movies, whether it be Missing in Action, whether it be The Hitman, and numerous others that they took little bits and everything and kind of parodied in here. And of course the biggest parody wasn't even a Chuck Norris thing. It's almost like it's a parody of Karate Kid. So it's ironic that I am putting this against the final Karate Kid movie until this new one that they're making now. Pat Morita is still great in The Next Karate Kid. He's doing his best as Mr. Miyagi once again. I mean, he was always excellent in that role, so he wasn't never going to be bad in a Karate Kid film. However, I don't like Hilary Swank. I know this was her debut role, but I just don't like her character in this. I don't think she was very likable. To me, Daniel wasn't exactly that likable to me either, but he was more likable to me than what Hilary Swank was in this film. She just seems to have a really bad attitude from the start in this thing, and all the shit that goes down with her is kind of her own doing, in my opinion. Whereas it's not like Jonathan Brandis in Sidekicks, where he's got this dipshit little bully who is picking on him with his fellow little bully friends. And I think you can tell where I'm going with this one. So yeah, I'm going to give the leads to Jonathan Brandis and Chuck Norris for Sidekicks. Alright, so let's move on to supporting. Supporting cast in Sidekicks consists of Beau Bridges, Mako, Joe Piscopo, Danica McKellar, Richard Mull, Julia Nixon-Soul, and Garrett Graham. Supporting cast in The Next Karate Kid consists of Michael Ironside, Constance Towers, Chris Conrad, Sonny Trinidad, Michael Calaveri, and Walton Goggins. Now, the supporting cast in Sidekicks, very good group of actors. I loved Beau Bridges playing Jonathan Brandis' father in here. Now, some people have criticized the family dynamic in Sidekicks as being too sitcom-y in a way, the way that the father is with his son and everything. And to me, I never saw that. I think that Beau Bridges is excellent in his role, as is Julia Nixon-Soul as the teacher that kind of almost like has a romantic thing with Beau Bridges' character in here. And her uncle character is the one that trains Jonathan Brandis, played by Mako. And Mako is excellent in this film. And to be honest, when they did The Karate Kid, they could have easily cast Mako instead of Pat Morita, and it would have worked because Mako was such a good actor, and he could have actually made that work, just like he does it here. Really great job here. Joe Piscopo is, oh man, he is just great in here. He's basically kind of doing a parody of Martin Kove in Karate Kid, and it is priceless how he does it. It is perfect. It is the perfect mix of him basically taking what Martin Kove did and then stepping it up to this comical level that makes it just perfect. Danica McKellar is cute as hell as the love interest to Jonathan Brandis's character. I really enjoyed her performance in this. Are you trying to get my attention? Trying to get my attention? Come here, bub. What? What? What are you interrupting me for? What are you interrupting me for? Richard Mall, another actor that we lost recently. He's really great as this coach character in here. He's really all over Jonathan Brandis's character because he thinks he's not physical enough to be in his class and everything. He can't take it, and everything. And it turns out he's absolutely wrong. And then you have Garrett Graham playing the principal character in this. Garrett Graham was always good at playing these kind of characters, so he's really good in this. I wish I could say the same thing about the supporting cast for the next Karate Kid. As much as I like Michael Ironside, I think this was one of his worst performances in a film. The character, this is not a parody. Sidekicks, that works with Joe Piscopo. Michael Ironside, he is just too much in this thing. Constance Towers as Hilary Swank's character's mom. She's so-so. She's okay, I guess. Chris Conrad was pretty cool. I wish they would have just went traditional Karate Kid style and just made him the Karate Kid in here, and just made Hilary Swank the love interest. But I know they were trying to flip the script here, and to me it didn't work because she wasn't likable enough to be the lead in this film, in my opinion. I think Chris Conrad was a much better character that could have been the lead because he was much more likable. Rest of the cast is not much to speak of in this film. I mean, it is not that interesting of a cast, and even the ones that are known, like Michael Ironside and everything, he's just too over the top. So I'm going to give this one to Sidekicks as well. All right, so let's move on to story and see if we can come up with a clear-cut winner on that one. Sidekick story follows Barry Gabrewski as he is bullied at school and constantly fantasizes about his favorite actor, Chuck Norris, who is helping him and going on missions with him. He eventually begins studying martial arts with Mr. Lee and enters a tournament to face his bullies. The next Karate Kid story follows temperamental Julie Pierce as she fights against the sexual advances of a bully named Ned Randall, after which Mr. Miyagi takes her in to teach her true karate as she rebels against Ned and his sadistic mentor, Paul Duggan. The over-the-top storyline stuff in Sidekicks, it works because of the fantasy elements of Barry. And I think that makes it a fun film. And I just enjoy that over what we get with The Next Karate Kid. The story elements on here, I think, are so forced and so pushed in. It feels like a film that wasn't ever really intended to be a Karate Kid film, but they somehow decided that they wanted it to be a Karate Kid movie, so they wrote in the character of Mr. Miyagi in it and just forced him in there. He doesn't really feel like he belongs in this story. So here we go again. I'm going to give story to Sidekicks again. Let's move on to direction and see if Sidekicks can make a clean sweep of this one. Sidekicks was directed by Aaron Norris. The Next Karate Kid was directed by Christopher Kane. Now, as good as direction can be, it's not really very good if your writing is letting you down. The writing in Sidekicks works well with Aaron Norris's direction. He has fun with what he's doing, and he knows it's over the top, and he knows it's fun, and he has fun with it in directing these sequences. I can't say the same thing about Christopher Kane in The Next Karate Kid. The script, like I said, it seemed like it was forced. It seemed like it was a different story, and they just threw in Miyagi. And the same thing with the direction here. The previous Karate Kid movies all worked because they had the same director, John G. Avildsen, directing every one of them and connecting the stories fairly well through the same writer as well. This doesn't have the same writers. It has different director, Christopher Kane, and it feels different. He doesn't know how to tell a story with Mr. Miyagi. And like I said, this story feels foreign to Miyagi. It doesn't feel like Mr. Miyagi was even supposed to be in this story. So, yeah, I'm going to give this one to Sidekicks as well. So, another clean sweep for a film. Sidekicks to me has been and always will be the superior film to The Next Karate Kid. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with my assessment on this comparison? Do you disagree? Let me know in those comments down below. And if you enjoyed this little versus night, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell icon so you can be notified about future videos just like this one. And while you're by the subscribe button, click that join button and become a Dark Knight fan. As a Dark Knight fan plus member, you can reply to a post that I have up right now at this moment, in which you can actually put your movie or TV show or even a ranking video that you want me to do on the channel. And when I do it, it will become exclusive on Dark Knight Fans Plus for all Dark Knight Fans Plus members to view. So, and plus you have the Dark Knight Films library in which you can see all of our films, short films, TV shows, featurettes, audio commentaries, interviews, a plethora of things. So if you were on the fence about it, now is as good a time as any to become a Dark Knight fan. Well, that's the end of another Versus Night. If you missed last week's Versus Night, check out the link up in here. Or if you've missed any of the other Versus Nights, check out our playlist and see anything that you have missed.